I'd like to say Bujari Gamarua. G'day everyone. How's everyone? Looking forward to tonight? Excellent. I'm sure it's going to be deadly. What I was going to say here where we are is Jubbagali. It's important to understand this piece of land here. As I said last year, there were middens here. The middens, expanding on that, the middens were taken, obviously collection of shells, and they've been used in the buildings around Sydney here, the first building. So if you go up Macquarie Street, like the Mint, if you have a look in the mortar there, or if you look over the other side, Tullawallada, the rocks, like in Argyle Street and in the wharves there, you'll see little specks of shells, and they're from here. What I was going to say too, it's important, it's been somewhat of a difficult year on many levels, especially about the referendum. It didn't go the way Aboriginal people wanted, but we did have more than 40%, which is more than 6.5 million people voting for us. It's just that we need a lot more education, a lot more storytelling to educate the masses, because it wasn't taught in school, was it, about Aboriginal people? There was fake news that a guy named Captain Cook discovered Australia. Yes. And look, he didn't discover Australia. We already traded with a lot of people. That's to understand. We traded with the Macassans up the top there, the Indonesians, and obviously people came down further and further up into China, and that was with the sea cucumbers up the top up there. And have you guys got your phones? Have you reception in here, or is it bad? Not good. When you get a chance, have a look at Huntingbird Manuscript Vatican, and you will see that there's a cockatoo in there, 800 years in the Vatican, just shy, 1241. Quite amazing. And cockatoos are part of our totems too. They're very important. The whales are part of our totems. They would come in here and they'd come in here and rest in Gomera, which is Darling Harbour, with the little calves. And they would have different names up and down the coast from all the different tribes, nations, with a connection with them. And there is a beautiful whale engraving over at Ball's Head. Over at Parramatta is actually named Barramadigal clan. That's where they are. Barra meaning eel, and there's a whole creation story about Sydney Harbour being created by a giant Barra, and Barra's just resting off of East Balmain. There's a little island there called Memel or Memel, and that's the Eye of the Barra. It's important to respect our totems. We have other totems like the dingo, hasn't had a good reputation. Unfortunately, it's being hunted all around Australia, and it's very important that we respect the dingo. And there is a First Nations dingo declaration that's now been formed, and dingoes do not apex predators, but they do right by killing the animals that shouldn't be there, not our native animals, because the rangers that are looking after them have done tests, and their scat, they've tested that. So we did have them at Parliament House earlier this few months ago. They had dingo puppies there, and I was just telling politicians today, look, if you're out there cuddling a dingo pup, and if you're taking a picture with it and you're patting, you should be voting for them. Yes. Isn't that right? Yes. Another one of our totems has been maligned, as I said, mentioned last year, is the sacred ibis. Yes, the sacred ibis. Please don't call me a bin chicken. I'm the sacred ibis. Yes, I'm sacred in Egyptian culture too. And there is a connection to Egyptian culture on the northern beaches. There's actually a sphinx there. You didn't know that, did you? Yes, there's a sphinx engraved over there just after World War I, and there's a couple of pyramids. They were created, we reopened them early, a few months ago, and they were created just after World War I from some of the people who returned after World War I, and they were paying tributes to their fellow comrades that they lost over there. And look, the ibis to me is very special. It's kept me sane through this pandemic. I've been outside watching them. And earlier this year, I was lucky to see an elder bird taking 3 younger birds for flying lessons. Yes, so they're a little bit unsteady, but they were learning. But that's just like society, isn't it? The elders passing down the knowledge to the younger ones. And what I was going to say, that I did have a younger bird in my front yard for 2 weeks. It had a very small beak like that, and I could see that its parents looking after it, the community were looking after it, which was great. And I did say that to one of the ministers in New South Wales Parliament. They actually told me a story about out at Lake Gillawana, which is out at Bankstown, obviously where Poetry Slam's big, with the diverse community out there. And They took 15 birds. They took them out the country. They had them wormed. They had them vet checked. They had them tagged. And then what happened is the birds beat them back here before they got back. Yes, they did. They didn't know. Next time I see the minister, I'm going to say, hey, mate, you have to really realise that they have little families. They're monogamous. They have little families. They have little communities that they all belong to. And I found one earlier this year, probably about a month and a half ago, that passed. I think it got hit by the car. So what I did was I gave it a proper burial in my backyard because I think that's important, respecting all Mother Nature and all our animals. And I said, Ivy, you're born here, you've passed here, your spirit's now here with the rest of your mob and your community, your family, because they all stay where they are. And so it's important that you stay there and respect them. It's important we take a moment's silence to pay respects to ancestors, pay respects to Mother Earth. Mother Earth provides us with everything. Our clothes, our food, our buildings, everything comes from her, but we need to really get back for caring for her. We haven't cared for her, and that's why the ibises have moved to the city with us. And also we need to pay respects to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander tradition owners, elders and custodians of the past and present, for looking after the sites that we have, those 40,000 plus year old sites, and the spirit of country and culture, because they're your culture and your sites to protect for humanity, but we still want you to remain strong in your identity and your culture. It's so important. And then also remember those we've lost the last few years, because it's quite difficult, the time we've had, with COVID. If it only go away and we got rid of those 5G towers. Yes, some people believe that. Look, we need to be on it. We need to be respectful of them with their ideas, and we need to be talking with them in a respectful and dignified manner, and try and get people to think about, let's do things the right way, and let's try and base things on science and evidence like that. So if we have a moment's silence, a moment of paying respect, and a moment of reflection of our journey right here, and how we're going to hear some really deadly poetry tonight. So moment's silence, thanks. We have those three beautiful rivers, the Hawkesbury, Nepean and Georges. On behalf of Metropolitan Local Aboriginal Land Council, our members and elders, welcome everyone here. Enjoy tonight. Have a safe journey home to your family and loved ones. Let's all work and walk together for better outcomes. And we look around the world, it's not really great now, is it? There's a lot of hate out there. Let's have a little more love in our hearts, I think is important. And that, there's some crazy stuff being said out there, isn't there? People eating dogs and cats, yes. That's not true. No, people are not eating dogs and cats. What it does is create people who are neo-Nazis walking in those communities. And I met a lady from Ohio the other week, a doctor out here for an important conference, and she was quite upset of what was happening out there and people doing bomb threats. Let's not be like that. I know we aren't like that. Let's show the rest of the world when we respect people, no matter what postcode you're born in, the colour of your skin, the gender you identify, the shape of your eyes, and who you are, your cultural background. We should respect everyone. Always was, always will be Aboriginal land, never ceded. Enjoy tonight. Thanks.
Okay. Is that on? Yes. Okay. Hello. Welcome to the 2024 election. Tonight you will be voting on some incredible poets who will become the Slambassadors of Australia. What's up? If only, right? You go to the polls and all you really have to do is vote on the quality of the goddamn poetry, right? I mean, politicians are meant to be poets, and they just ain't. So tonight, you get to circumvent the polling process and the election process, and you get to elect your true champion, the person who will bring out your emotions, the person who will speak to your heart, your head, your tummy, your guts, to take your brain on a wave. So my name is Miles Merrill, and I actually moved here in 1996 when I was 3. And But I brought poetry slams with me, which is crazy, right? So we started doing poetry slams in 1996, myself and another guy called Phil Norton, the two of us, and we found there was already a spoken word scene here. Which we could kind of jump into, myself and this other guy from Chicago. And we met people like this person sitting down the front row, actually, Edwina Blush. Give her a round of applause. When I came here in 96, Edwina Blush was like the most famous spoken word singing, dancing, moving with, actually made music with this person over here, Mr. Trevor Brown. What? But somehow, yes, we started poetry slams in a pub where the prize was $20, a bottle of wine, or something we found on the street on the way to the pub. You get to decide which was first, second, and third. Yeah, it was good, it was fun doing it in the pub, but sometimes you had to basically do something where you'd have to jump up onto the bar and get down into people's faces, and because otherwise they'd be gone, stop talking. I'm trying to have a beer over here. What's this poetry thing up on the stage over there? No. But you jump down and you go, what's up? How you doing? And actually, it was the proving ground, right? To actually take people who were just in a public space trying to do something else like smoke when you could inside and have a beer, and you are suddenly bombarding them with your brain waves. So that is how the Chops were created. The Poetry Slam proper, the National Poetry Slam, started because I was asked to host a slam. And I was like, but they asked me to host the Leichhardt Performance Poetry Competition 2003. And I was like, can we shorten that a little bit? So Leichhardt Poetry Slam happened in 2003. Then 2004, we did a poetry slam that was citywide. And then we did the first Sydney Poetry Slam with the State Library. And then it was New South Wales. And 2007 was national. And then 2008, we were on the ABC, broadcast live on every local radio station around the country. And then ABC2 television. And yeah, it's been continuing to grow. And so we've sold out the house tonight. There are some gaps here. There are a few people who haven't shown up, but thank you very much. So what we have tonight is the culmination of this year's travel around the country. So we usually start in July, and we go to every state and territory to host heats in remote communities, regional communities, metro communities, and in the heats, the audience elects 2 representatives from Guyra, or Coffs Harbour, or Karratha, or Launceston, and they elect those 2 people to go to a state final, which in New South Wales we had that last night at the State Library, and then finally the top 16 are here for your judgment. So, but also entertainment, because one thing I will let you know, the point is not the points, it's the poetry. So I don't know if you all realize this, but you've somehow been tricked into coming to a poetry reading. Hey. But you will cheer. You might surprise yourself. You will cheer, you will cry, you will leap to your feet and say, yeah, me too! And we'll drag you out of the venue kicking and screaming. So before we actually get into the slam proper, we are so in luck. Well, we planned it. So last year, I don't know, how many people were here last year? Raise your hand. A few peeps. Last year we had a tie for first place twice. We were like, okay, let's just do a slam off. Okay, let's just do a slam. You're both winners. So we had co-champions. A man who's been performing poetry in schools and prisons and communities and art galleries and all over Australia for 20 years. And someone who had just started performing poetry in the Poetry Slam heat the month before. At the age of, I believe, 16. Just like rocked it, right? Just pulled out the notebook and ripped it to shreds in front of our eyes with her words. Just really powerful stuff. And so as part of winning, she's gone on ABC Radio National to talk to people about poetry and the power of spoken word. She has published, we've published her first zine. We're now a zine publisher called Puzzle, which you can get a copy of outside later tonight. But we're so excited because it's a journey. Like Rob, our co-slam champion from last year, Rob, after this will go on to Ubud, Singapore, Mumbai, Malaysia, touring with his poetry. All supported, yes. Woo. So we thought it's appropriate to bring back our champions. And my, how they've grown. Now, so there's been some highlights for KJ Hayward. As I said, she's been doing radio shows. She's been doing youth slams. She's been teaching. I said, what was one of the highlights? And she said, I taught a kindy. And I was like, whoa, okay. She taught other high school students. She's actually homeschooled, so she was like, you guys are all wearing uniforms. But I would love to hear her poetry. Would you guys like to hear some? Well, she's, wait, hold on. She's just out the back, and I don't think she can hear you guys unless you're like, whoa, KJ Hayward, whoa!
Hi, everyone. Whenever anyone asks me about nerves, when I stood on this stage last year, I always say these lights are so bright I can't see past the third row. So, hi, all people down here. If you could pass the message on, that'd be great. So first of all, I would just like to say congratulations to everyone who is behind that curtain, just there, because we have an incredible night with 16 performers, 16 of Australia's best slam poets to perform for you. Last year I was out there very, very jittery with nerves. But this is such a supportive community, and I'm so grateful to have had this opportunity, and super excited to see who steps away a winner, but also just know that if people behind this curtain can hear me, that you guys are awesome, and should be really proud that you are here. Thank you. So my family is certainly my biggest supporters. I call them my cheer squad when they all come. There's 6 of us all together. And my brother could not, and my mum and my brother couldn't make it tonight because he had his appendix removed the day before we took off. So, yeah, pretty unfortunate timing. But as tribute to Mum and my brother, I must do the dorky thing and have you all say hi to her when she watches this later. So just if we could all just go, hi, Mum, you know. Thank you. Thank you so much. She always tells me not to point her out on stage because she's camera shy, but I've either ruined her day or showed my love for her. Oh, well. Speaking of family, they're also my greatest inspiration. My bigger sister was my first ever workshop participant when I was practicing for this tour. And she wrote a couple of lines for a poem themed by her favorite food, lasagna, which I will share for you. As the second oldest, I absolutely and happily stole those lines from her and put it into a poem. So I'll perform this for you now. My sister doesn't write poetry. She makes lasagna. Secret recipes folded neatly between pasta sheets to mutter paste pen ink correcting errors, to better the flavor, to savor the moments at meal times. Click our fingers, lick what lingers on lips, not unlike a poetry slam. I am not a good cook. I play percussion with pots and pans, cleanup demands an army. I'm me with a single stove, and I can paint incredible charcoal portraits. We joke that Kiara's not allowed within 2 meters of a flame. My sister, you won't see her on the stage, but it's all the same when eager eaters feed from freedoms we deliver when you are hungry for change. I say, my sister doesn't write poetry. She trades linguistics for linguini, hides hated goods like a food Houdini, satisfies those seeking seconds. She attends many of these slams. So when I stand on this stage, she's taken back to the stovetop, sees the pots bubbling over, feels the heat that overflows and knows the kick of the spice we keep loaded. Coated like cheese, you need to make meals out of us for closure. 'Cause we know we both leaf stains your clothes won't handle. My sister doesn't write poetry. But every night at meal times we unwind at dinner table stages using napkins for pages. She serves lasagna. And that's pretty damn close. Thank you. So recently, my little sister, who is not the one who makes lasagna. I have an older sister who makes lasagna and a little sister. And my little sister keeps coming to my shows recently, and everybody asks her after I perform, she goes, do you write poetry? And she's like, no, I don't. She goes, are you the one who made lasagna? And she's like, no, I'm not. So we've decided to make T-shirts where it goes, the poet, the lasagna maker, and the pretty child instead, which honestly suits her perfectly. So, on the subject of family, it's clearly, I suppose, from that poem, something that resonates with me really strongly. But standing on this stage, I've had the opportunity to preach my politics to any willing audience. But I'm not always sharing the really personal side of things. So a little bit of a backstory to that. My biological father left when I was 5 years old, and I haven't seen or heard from him for 11 years now. And it is what it is. There's no hate there. I was raised by a loving family, and I'm lucky to be on this stage and to have them to support me. But I think this is a story that a lot of us here can connect with, and I think sharing these stories vulnerably on the stage can really benefit us. So, thank you. So this is called The Dad Poem. I do not want to see you, but I know I am supposed to. They say a dad poem is long overdue, but I grew up without you, and your absence left tattoos on Mum. But she taught us to think for ourselves. Ever since she made ink from those memories, filled up our pens, wrote them resilience, a remix of all could-have-beens when you couldn't be here with us. I get it. You had a life to live. One without kids, sometimes I too wish I could lift that responsibility, but being blank's daughter follows on spreadsheets. People ask quizzically about my family's history, a skin you shed so easily. It's funny. You've gone so long, I couldn't pick you in a lineup, but I'm told I look, act right just like you. Maybe that's why behind the mic I feel like a brand new person. Maybe that's why fights with Mum feel the worst, yeah. Because in a past life I said goodbye and left 3 daughters, my wife, my tribe behind, but I reclaimed your style as mine. I got no pain and now I'm fine. It's looking like my stars align, and I'm looking inside the minds of poets and rappers alike, finding fathers on stages and pages in the spaces where your absence left rapping and rhyme. I ain't crying for the past, and my future is in my line of sight. And my brother is my horizon, raised by a dad of his own. In his eyes I see a love I'll never know, but it spills out of him and overflows through our heart and home. And I know his kids will never have to write the dad poem, for he chose roses where you left your weeds to grow. And all this talk about apples on trees, it's about time these apple seeds made poetry. So hear me speak when I say I do not want to see you. For this tattoo ink wrote lyrics in my skin that I've been speaking ever since I was 6 years old, flows through my heart and home. I didn't think I'd ever write the dad poem. But just to let you know, here's one for you. Thank you. So I've been writing a lot of new stuff lately. And so this is a poem that I haven't ever performed before. And it comes from the feeling of being dismissed or stepped over, which I'm sure a lot of us in this audience can relate to. being a young female in this world, it's something that I experience every day in small ways and in big ways. And standing, sorry, I have my notes everywhere. It happens to the best of us. And so it is quite, sorry, I am nervous if you can't tell. Thank you. When we stand on these stages, metaphorical, whether that be, your work, your school, or in your home, and we share our stories so openly and vulnerably, to then be shut down by another person is really impacting on us. And youth today is something that suffers from that a lot. It's a subject that's being brought up more often with a negative connotation, where, I think that I am proof that standing on this stage, we can do amazing things. And I want everybody to know that. I want everyone to feel loved and appreciated on their stage, wherever that may be. That's my mission with all of this poetry stuff. So I wrote this poem called Tribute, addressing that issue. Tribute to my haters, youth turned washed up ages, reminiscing and using my stage, not heard one word of what I have to say. My heartbreak and pain under this spotlight is rain, washing away the stains left by my abusers. Mic stands, my Kevlar suit, I'm bulletproof, aim your guns and shoot is useless. I'm writing truth and guiding youth, I wrote my revolution. Tribute to my haters, look us now we're famous, and cause we're done with all the crazy, I'ma put you in your places. You said we're just kids, dubbed idiots collecting the fame for the sake of it, coins safe in our pockets, our grins are made of plastic, but so are your promises. And that's it, I couldn't care less about this shit, just want to feel respected, on stage, on page, spewing ink spit. But now that we're here, let's talk. Are you feeling the fear, walking the walk, or have you forgotten what it's like at rock bottom, being the prey and the stalk? But I don't want to be anymore. You showed us out when you opened the door, and I'ma light up this house like it's got forks, but I'm all for peace and love and lifting each other up. You told us we weren't enough, we're living it up, not living it rough, so watch what we become. And tribute to my haters, new voices are feeling like strangers, but you were old times and time well is changing. And hating on the times is time wasted. And we ain't trying to be the replacement, but I'm tired of you looking complacent, thinking you're some kind of savior, adjacent to poetry gods, holding your hands up like stop, treating us like little kids, but telling us to grow up. But I'm done playing games. This ain't fun using my name to load the gun for your excuses. Be careful where you shoot it, and you can tell that in a tribute to my haters. Sit back and look at how we all made it, and now you will wait on us, choking on a tail dust, praying you have faith in us back. And we discussed I would write my tribute to you. Thank you for having me.
Hello. Wow. What do you reckon? Huh. All right. Are we ready? Because we are getting into the slam part of the show. Now, in order to do this, I want those people sitting in the following seats to look under their seats. And if you're not sitting in this seat, then you have the requirement to look next to you. Now, I need the house lights up for this. We've got amazing, Word Travels has an amazing board, like a board, that governance thing that not-for-profits have. And our treasurer is walking down the front right there. That's Grant Saxon. He's going to be handing out some whiteboards, and he's got a microphone and all that sort of stuff. And the secretary of our board is over there, Sarah Walladan. So what's going to happen is under seat number D16, have a look under D16. Yeah. Okay, D16, awesome. So D16, Sarah's gonna hand you a microphone and a whiteboard. We're just gonna pass it on down. So what you've got underneath your seats tonight, guys, 5 of you, you have excerpts, you have little bits of poetry from Rob Waters, from his book, I Will Speak Now. So your job is to speak out. Stand up for us, please. Yeah, excellent. Thank you. And tell us your name, please.
Nick.
Hey, Nick, how you going? Can you read out a little bit of Rob Waters' poetry from his book, I Will Speak Now?
I'd love to. Okay, I don't know where to face. You're all back here. Oh, sorry, hi. Flesh of her flesh, spirit of her spirit, fallen in the cause of the free, lest we forget.
Excellent. This is judge number 1. Thank you very much, Nick. Okay, H7. H7. Who's got H7? Dun, 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 dun. All right, Grant's going to help you out. Absolutely. Grant's going to help you out with your microphone. Tell it, once you get your mic, tell us your name and all that sort of stuff. There you go. Holding up your poem. Okay, can you stand up for us, please?
Hi, I'm Di.
Hey, Di.
I was actually a judge at the Launceston Heat
Oh.
in August. I was
Okay,
picked
maybe
from
a
the
bit
crowd.
biased toward them Tasmanian poets,
So I'm
eh?
thrilled.
Okay.
No, I'm not from Tas, I'm from here.
Oh, okay.
I
Well,
was
there
on
you go.
holidays.
Okay.
All right. People ask me why I have to read my poetry from notepads or the screens of phones. They say the good ones don't need to do it. They can do it alone.
Ooh. Nice. Okay. That's judge number 2. So K17. Where's K17? K17. Hello, judge number 3. Sarah, do you want to go up to K17? Okay. And your name
Hi.
is? Hi. What's your name?
Isabella.
Hello, Isabella. Can you read out some of Rob's poetry?
I am a picture frame sitting slightly sideways, begging to be straightened.
Brilliant. Okay, that is our judge number 3. Excellent. With your whiteboard and your marker. G21. Where's G21? Do you need hold music? G21. Oh, it's a spare seat. Okay, who's gonna dive, jump in. Person sitting next to it is like, nah, not me, spare seat. Okay. Oh, Alice, hello. She's actually a former board member, so no bias because she's former board member. So can you stand up? I've actually just ruined it, to say your name or anything, but that's Alice. Yep.
Oh, thank you. When I grow up, I want to be a pink unicorn with wings. I want to own a farm with a jumpoline. No, not a trampoline, because that just sounds dumb.
Thank you, Alice. Okay. And right down the front, if we can, we're going to go to B10. Dun, dun, dun. I think our last one is Grant over here. Have you got the whiteboard and the marker there? B10. Where's B10? Raise your hand. Oh, yep. B10. Yep. And underneath your seat. Yeah, okay. Where's your bit of poetry? You got to search underneath the seat for it. Yeah. Okay, what do we got?
Hello.
Hello.
I'm
What's
taking
your
it
name?
for. My name is Ish, and I'm taking it for my daughter, Soraya.
Okay, hey, Soraya, how you going? You're not going to judge Soraya? Okay, how old are you, Soraya? 10. You know what? When the person wins the poetry slam, they actually tour to schools. So your opinion is relevant, right? You could be the judge. You want to read it out? Okay, she's like, nah, Daddy, no. Okay.
All right. Multigrain sourdough, roasted pumpkin, topped in seeds, soaked in honey and chili.
All right. So these are our judges for the night. Give them a round of applause. So our judges just did, you see those surveys that are like, what's the scariest thing that humans can do, right? Second scariest is always like impromptu, spontaneous public speaking. So that's always second on the list. I think number 1 is, redback crawls into your ear while you sleep and lays eggs. Who would rather do public speaking? Yeah! No, some of you with your hands down are like, but isn't that how Spider-Man got his powers, though? Okay. With kids, I'm always like, keep your hand in your lap if you pick your boogies and taste it. All of you. Okay. We are now going into what is known as a poetry slam. Yeah. So it's a bit of a competition, you know, we got judges and everything. And we want to calibrate the way that you score, because, you know, we found out through multiple researchers and universities around the world, all studying poetry slams, that there's this weird thing called, hey, how you going? It's called score creep. So it starts out with, oh, I don't know what this poetry slam is. And by the end of the poetry slam, there's people in the audience going, 10, 10, 10 to the power of 10, that's so good. So calibrate it, people. I'm gonna give you some kind of, you know, balance. So you got your total of 10, right? Now within that, you've got, let's say, 4 for literature. Great writing. That's what we're here for, great writing. 4 for performance, yeah? So they actually looked you in the eye. They actually had some movement. They had some modulation of voice. They went loud, they went fast, they changed it up. Performance, so that's got your 8. And what's that last 2? Were you moved? Did you want to run up onto stage and give them a hug? Did you want to run up on stage and go, yeah, me too, and be dragged kicking and screaming out of the... But that is your calibration, right? Be thinking about that when you're... Don't just go, oh, wow, that was the most incredible thing I ever heard. Oh, 10 every time, right? And I'll just give you a little secret. We drop the high score and the low score and only keep the middle 3. So if you are in the audience and you're, you know, son's up on stage and you're like, 10, 10, 10 to the power of 10, that's my boy. Or your ex is in the audience going, minus infinity. Okay. That's this random scoring situation. You can just end up with anybody. Any of our judges got a PhD in poetry? Good. Okay. So another way we calibrate this is we bring out what's called a sacrificial poet. So we have a guillotine just behind this. No, we're so lucky, right? Because I think it was back in 2012. This poet was a national finalist when we were doing shows at Sydney Theatre Company. She went on to found her own poetry festival in the Northern Territory called the Red Dirt Poetry Festival, and continues to just thrive with her own writing and building communities, because that's what this is about. It's about taking something larger than your own artistic excellence and expanding it to reach everyone. So I would like you to put your hands together for our sacrificial poet, and judges, get ready. Her name is Lori May.
We were 15 the first time we kissed. Clumsy noses didn't know which way to sit to fit with the curves of each other's faces. Your sharp angles met my flat ones in ways that overtook me. It was a teenage love affair to end all love affairs, but these bodies didn't quite know which bits fit where. Salt licks, bitter notes, the blood stained from shared cuts. We found that peace in graveyard dates until the sun came up, until the mouth tasted of raw meat and suicide packs. We would shower op shop racks every weekend looking for the perfect fit, like a well-worn pair of Levi's. We would hold fashion shows in narrow clothes aisles. We would tell stories of outfits worn by other people, like long-lost lovers reunited. We would imagine that we were them, ignoring the unstitched hems and holes neatly burnt from forgotten cigarettes nights. Our second-hand hearts marched dance beats with fingers across palms that didn't read fortunes, but failures set the sun on teenage love. Those teeth marks, those carved grooves, those raised bruise waged war on ourselves, the pain of tortured youth and long-lost skin names. We clung to each other, hoping to find meaning where there was no meaning, in every slap cheek and every slam door. Not star-crossed lovers, not poison cousins, no love songs, no poetry, no Romeo and Juliet, just blood-stained lips where our hurts met and noses that didn't quite fit. Those seance nights, those graveyard dates, those op shop clothes scrunched back into bags, put back on racks for new teenagers to find, to dance in aisles and ignore neatly burnt cigarette holes and unstitched hems, while they tell each other stories of long-lost lovers reunited, and they imagine that they were us.
Now, to do this part of the show, we have to introduce two very special guests because we're going to get into some serious judging soon. So please welcome to the stage our scorekeeper, Daphne. And our timekeeper, Annette. That was nice music. What was that? Later. Okay. Judges, all you have to do is using decimal points to the 10th of a point, not the 100th of a point. We're not mathematicians, which means 7.9, 9.2, that's the 10th of a point, and a 9.0, that's a whole number. Okay, none of that. So we don't have a tie at the end and a slam off and a slam on, a slam. Okay, so judges, hold them up high, write it down, hold them up high. I'm gonna put my hand over my brow and have a look, write them big. We have a 6, we've got a 9.1, that's a whole number, the 6, and a 7.2, and what is that? It's small. 7.9, is it? Okay, that's my eyes, that's good. And what's that one? That's a 5.7. Okay. Give a round of applause to Lori May. Okay, our board members, they're sitting on the sidelines. Sarah Walladon, lawyer by day, poetry slam, volunteer by night. Please go to an audience member and get them to pull a name out of the hat. And when you pull that name out of the hat, shout it out nice and loud into the microphone and tell us the state they are from.
The state is Queensland, and it's Aurora Little Christie.
Please welcome to the stage, Aurora.
Do you see us? Your eyes do not deceive you, we exist. Chest out, head up, stride strong, energy big, laugh loud, hair proud, face fresh, fit funky, voice even. Did I stutter? Heart open, arms open, bear witness as the underground rises. Beneath cities on occupied lands, we, the children of the Renaissance, gather. After lifetimes spent searching for mirrors in the dark, finding only fragments of our reflections in the boxes they packed us in, we mold clay into stardust to remind ourselves when they tell us to go back to where we came from, that where we come from is the very fabric of their existence. We set caged birds free in ourselves, in each other, in the reflections we now find on mountain peaks where dawn's first light kisses this is those brave enough to dream. Do you see us? See how we have walked alongside tornadoes and sat amongst the wildfire. How we have waded through raging rapids and bathed in molten lava. How we've survived. We know what it means to exist in the extremities. So know this body, this voice, this spirit will not conform to your limitations of what we are capable of being. Do you see us? See how we have commandeered the pen, wayward and deceiving, to rewrite our truth through its own eyes. I decide who I am that I am, and I. So we rise together, gather round, family. Let us rejoice in the plight of our being. Here, where imagination greets suffering with a revolutionary embrace. Watch how they dance, transform through this passion like spinning wildfire. Do you see us? We know you do. Chest up, head up, stride strong, energy big, laugh loud, hair proud, face fresh, fit funky, voice even. Did I stutter? Heart open, arms open, bear witness as the underground rises.
I was just walking past and the DJ was like checking his Facebook. No, I'm just kidding. I've known this man since 1996. Okay. It's the walk on and the walk off thing. Where it's like, okay, nah, yeah, that'll be good. Okay, okay, judges, what do we got? We got 8.3, we got a 7.5, we have a 9, whoa, that's good, an 8.9, and all the way up back we've got a, what is that? A 9.2, whoa, okay. Okay. Yeah. I reckon, judges are listening, so the 4 for performance, 4 for literature, 2 for if you move, where you moved, that's it. Okay, so here we go. Name from the hat, over to Grant. Dun, 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 dun.
W.A. Joe Gillies.
Bring it on, Joe.
Black fella, white fella, it doesn't matter what you color, as long as you a true fella.
They tell me that I think too much, too monkey mind, too chitter-chatter all the time. They say, why don't you just relax, take a breath, eat some Tic Tacs, head to the vintage store and buy some knickknacks. But my brain is firing in all directions. There are sections devoted to numbers that are prime that keep me from thinking about death all the time. They say a quiet mind is the key to inner peace, your meditation pose, your ocean breeze, that happiness is yours with ease. But I seem to prefer destruction. I like to turn things upside down and deconstruct them. I get that being chill is venerated, but I keep my edges serrated. They tell me I'm a little dark, a little cunty and full of snark, that I should settle down and take a nap. But try this calming technique where you tap meridian points in your hands. But I'm busy with my trolling right-wing senators on Facebook plans. I'm thinking about the space between moments. I'm thinking about frontier war memorial monuments. I'm thinking about hand-knitted possum socks. I'm thinking about drag queens on TikTok. They stopped to tell me once again, your mind is too busy. I tell you this as a friend. You need to find your inner stillness. But I keep bumping up against my inner illness. I have a bit of PTSD from travelling too close to death, apparently. Additionally, I've inherited familiar anxiety, but I see a psych occasionally, and I even attend a class of Tai Chi. But my mind will always be obsessively thinking. It's what I do now I've stopped taking drugs and drinking. And yes, it sometimes keeps me up in bed at night when thoughts go through my head. I try and keep them quiet and still, but they're running down dream corridors and windowsills. Sometimes they appear out the door, a hulking threat of nocturnal roar. I wake and feel my chest beating and remind myself, I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive.
Okay, jueces. What do we have? All right. Down front, we got a 9.5. It's good. You know, I can see a dad-daughter negotiation over the scores down there, which is good, definitely. 8.8. We have a 7.9, a 9.6. We have, what is that, a 9.1? What is it? Yes, okay, we got it. I need to give you a fatter marker. Well done, audience, well done, judges. One more round of applause. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Now, while Sarah finds our next shouting out, just give us that little ding there, Annette. Yeah, so that's the 1 minute 50 that you hear, right? So they have 2 minutes. If they go over time, they start to lose points. So we give them a little warning that if you were planning to go on for another minute, yeah. Okay, all right, who have we got next?
Tasmania, Kathleen Green.
Kathleen Green. Bring it on, Kathleen from Tassie.
Got the style, not the grace. Got the clothes, not the face. Got the bread, but not the butter. Got the window, but not the shutter.
You think Tasmania has no culture. But in Hobart, we have a wall of plaster vaginas. We call them maps of Tassie, and we've got wildlife. Watch out for the rolling blockades of wallabies, because wild things still roam in Tassie. You'd be wild too if your home was clear-felled. Now the wild invade our homes. You think it's hard living with teenagers? Try living with screaming devils and possums. Screeching owls eat rats and mice, but they vomit fur and bone on the carpet. Echidnas are prickly to get on with, but they eat ants. Currawongs. Open zippers on bags, they steal food and they snatch biscuits from your hands. In autumn, wallabies fornicate in the middle of the road. We don't go out at night, it's too friggin' wild. Wombats are not bats. We do like bats in the house. They eat insects and 1,200 mosquitoes an hour. But one bat set up house in my handbag, bit my finger. I'm still waiting for bat powers to kick in, and this place will make a fantastic bat cave. But if I start frothing at the mouth, you better evacuate. Do come and visit. But when you leave Tassie, shut the bloody door, or you'll let out all the hot air and the wild things will follow.
Got the bread, but not the butter. Got the window, but not the shutter.
Okay. Da-da-da-da-da. Hold 'em high. We got a 7.7 down the front, a 7.5, a 7.4, a 7.7 again, and a fatter marker. Yay! Doom, doom, boom, boom, doom. You've got your own personal hold music. Doom, 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 boom, boom, doom, boom, 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 doom, boom, 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 boom. And a 7.5. Nice one. One more time. Okay, and we've got Grant Saxon, accountant by day, poetry slam, volunteer by night.
W.A. Karen Louise.
Karen Louise. Put your hands together for Karen Louise.
I'm sick of magazines defining beauty and of influencers showing me the latest way to wear my pubes. I'm tired of being told my ankles might have early onset cellulite because my thighs are overblown with Toblerone and loaded fries. They say my navel wears a frown, my knees look like they're upside down, my nipples always need to point towards the sun, and so I wonder if that makes my lover Icarus. The bigger myth is that none of this stuff matters, because it does. How do we sedate, deflate, deactivate the self-perpetuating algorithm? I'm no magician. My spine still searches for fetal position, but I consciously transition from fear into purpose. Words can feed or make us bleed, so self-talk is important, but when I lead from the heart, my backbone unfurls from the safety of shadow, and there's a shift in perspective, an unshaming, because I no longer need an intervention for my body's perfect imperfections. My legs are imprinted with clover and riverbeds, dividends for investing in my imagination. My chest is a hollow, a roost for music, a harbour for art, a home for poems. My belly is a mid-century veranda that shades my almost decorative ovaries. And when this hetero-patriarchal farce we call polite society hangs me out to dry, my fallopian tubes will sway in the breeze, released from reproductive servitude. My crescent eyes are finials, and the ravens that worship at the foot of my temples carry the memories of 1,000 smiles. This is me. Welcome to my body, Remorphia.
Okay. Dum, 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 dum. Judges, they're thinking about it. They're thinking about it. An 8.7, an 8.6. She's just like, 9.2. That's got a glare on it. It looks like an 8.7 as well. And that's an 8.9. Well done. One more time for our fabulous poet. Okay. Those of you sitting on the aisle, oh, there's a woman like reaching 4 seats down going, I want to call it out. Come on. It's a group project over there.
Tasmania, and it's Kellen Clark.
Okay, bring him to the stage. Kathleen Clark.
That's right, this has got to be the greatest record of the year. Pump up the volume, pump up the volume, pump up the volume, check it out.
When it comes to matters of the heart, yes, you can touch my boobs. If you're saving my life and it's what you need to do. Like if you pull me lifeless from a pool or a car wreck and you can bring me back from the brink of death with CPR, 28, 29, 30, 2 rescue breaths. Feel free to touch my chest. You seem unsure, but please understand that if my life is in your hands and I may never see my kids again, I'm begging you to get acquainted with Lefty Lucy and her slightly smaller friend. You see, women are twice as likely to die of heart failure because female presentations of coronary disease didn't feature in ER. And the combination of public cardiac arrest and owning a pair of breasts means that strangers are less likely to intervene, erroneously equating the pain of death with the shame of boobies being seen. I would much rather you cut up my favourite bra and flop them out to affix the defibrillator than to die of a heart attack sprawled on the pavement, but with my dignity intact.
But if you can't bear to bear my perfect pair, then I guess I'll just die there. Vale, Caitlin Clark, they'll say, may she rest in peace. At least she died doing what she loved, making men feel ill at ease.
Why are you laughing and pointing at me? I'm not feeling ill at ease. What are you talking about? We got a 9.5. I was like, maybe there's something on my shirt. An 8.1. 9.5, one more. Whoa, going, okay, where are we going? Oh yeah, a 9, that's a whole number, thank you very much. A 9.3, whoa. Okay. Okay, which side are we going to? We're going over this side or are we going Grant side? Grant side, all the way up the back, awesome. Ready to go.
Queensland, Justin Gange.
Bring it on for Justin from Queensland.
All right, let's have a bit of fun. When I say jelly, you say belly, jelly. Jelly. Belly. When I say jelly, you say belly, jelly. Jelly. You see, Jelly Belly was my nickname when I was just a lad, a witless piece of bullying which left me hurt and flaming sad. It took years to regain power as I fought for who I am. Now I own with pride my freedom, and with that ownership I slam. You see, I'm proud of this old dad bod, every wrinkle, every line, from the salt and pepper follicles to these muscles undefined. Hair that grows in places where it never grew before, yet disappearing daily where there used to be much more. These eyes that once were failing have been lasered to brand new, and what once was humour for a fluff, it's now a prospect for the loo. But it isn't all just doom and gloom, for the numbers say I'm great. I'm a unique individual, a quite cheeky reprobate. I once called myself a model and then I put it on a card. I thought, walking down the footpath surely couldn't be that hard. Because even when I'm mowing, all the neighbours stop and stare. They Google at me footy shorts and the Jackie Howe I wear. They gaze with awe and wonder at my six-pack bound in ice and gasp when I bend over at a view I guess that's nice. Because I'm not ashamed of who I am, I wear it like a pin. For it's not the house that makes a home, it's the heart that lies within. The gift of age is freedom from the burden of compare, okay with imperfection and content with laissez-faire. Comfy in my weathered skin and all good with being me. For everyone else is taken, what you get is what you see. Now if I say are you, you say okay, are you? Okay. Are you? Okay. If I say are you, you say okay, are you? Okay. Are you? Okay. Yes, I am, and so are you. Cheers, team.
Just before the show, Trevor was like, I'm going to be standing the whole time. You got a little stool. And now I'm like, hey, next one, let's just have a little boogie, hey? Can we do that together? Oh, mate. Okay. At the after party, okay. 7.9. Going around the room. 8.9 and 8.4. And you guys are having a chat about it. That's not how you draw an 8. Okay, let's see. An 8.4 and 8.9. Okay, give it up one more time for Justin. And we're going to go over here.
From the Northern Territory is Alexandra C. Stefan.
Excellent, Alex.
My baby was born on Larrakia country. In classic Darwin time, she took a while. Baked for 42 weeks. By the time she did arrive, her skin was papery and translucent like dragonfly wings. Soon little bits of it began to shed, and I sometimes ate them. Couldn't bear to lose even the tiniest flake of her, my precious snakeskin baby. Hormones are amazing, which I'm not just saying as a non-binary person. At birth, the instant hormonal rush meant I was already safely wrapped in a blanket of love when the medical staff around me was still calling for towels to mop up my blood. To me, nothing counted except the one slippery bundle of limbs on my chest, her jittery little cries vast in my ear, her tiny squinting eyes dark with the knowledge of womb life, of someplace other than here. Later, when the pain came back, I was haunted, imagining how harsh it must be to first meet air and gravity and cold, and yet how lucky to do so unscathed by the brutality of war. None of this story is fair. Up on the 6th floor, how exquisitely fragile and alive we were, and how undeservedly fortunate that our hospital was not bombed apart from under us as we took our first gulping breaths as family. My God, the babies. Never nursed again, slain and buried under crumpled concrete. What awaits their souls in the afterlife when they had so little life before death? There is not enough tenderness in heaven. There are not enough towels on earth to wipe these bloodstains off our history. In Germany, where I'm from, I might be called an enemy of the state for even expressing this concern. The ugly past offers no lessons learned, but plenty of weapons manufactured. Everything I thought of myself is coming apart at the stitches. For now, I hold my baby's hand at night to keep from sinking down too deep into despair. Say a prayer for the hands that do not find another in the dark. I shuffle across the bed to make sure the little hope I have is at least well fed.
Okay, 9.4. We're going to go all the way up the back first. Here we go. Yeah. Hello. Hey, how you going? We got a 9.6. We have a straight up 9. We have a 9.8. And we got a 9.1. Whoa. Okay. 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 Where are we? Oh, hello. Hey. Ahead of us. Yay. Getting out the glasses. Okay, we got
ACT, Audrey McCormick.
To the man that told me that talking about my period was like him talking about shitting his pants. Now, I don't know how often you shit your pants, but judging by what comes out of your mouth, I'm guessing it's a lot. I'm guessing you don't like women very much, but you like to see them shut up. Have you ever shit your pants so bad that you couldn't stand up? Has there ever been so much shit in your pants that you wondered if there was any shit left in your body? Has the pain ever overwhelmed you so completely you thought you might die? Right there on the bathroom tile. You think talking about periods is impolite. Classy women take their pain and hold it inside, squeeze their muscles tight enough to stop the bleeding. Good women appreciate their view of the sky when they see glass ceilings. Who is it really that you find so repulsive? Is it the little girls in bathrooms who think their organs are falling out because their mothers were too polite to tell them what a period was? Or the patient in the ER screaming from their cramping, sent home with a vomit bag and a diagnosis of overreacting? Or the future mother of your children cleaning her moon cup in the sink. Grateful for the body that keeps performing miracles no matter how gross you think it is. Shame chews on people's bones like a shark until all they know is self-hatred and denial. I won't let people bleed themselves dry in the dark because you're too squeamish to let them be as they are. I will talk about my blood like I'm giving a lecture in resistance. Watch you fall away like the lining of a uterus. I will bleed all over you and I won't ask for your forgiveness. You came into the world baptized in your mother's blood, yet you walk around like that sacrifice is something you can outrun. I only bleed once a month, but you shit on women every chance you get. Tell me to shut up again.
Okay, we're going to start with our judges right up the back. What do we got? Dun, 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 dun. We had a 9.7. We have an 8.9, a 9.8, a 9.2, and a 9.0, which is a whole number. 9.0. That is, did anyone else notice how the lighting guy took the cue and was like, I'm going to make the whole thing red? It was all right, where are we? Oh, up the back. Oh, yeah, awesome.
From Victoria, Alexander Bruce.
Alex Bruce from Victoria.
It goes, I am the incredible general. Sensational with the copy. Incredible general. Select to that left. Yo!
I'm here today to talk about the greatest failing of my life. When I didn't give myself enough, when I didn't try it hard enough, when I failed to follow through, suicide escaped me. Was I just non-committal? Maybe things weren't that bad, or maybe I wasn't serious, or maybe I just wanted attention, or maybe there's a problem here and the problem here is shame. We are taught as a society that we need to harden up, to deal with it, to get on with it, because everyone has problems. We're talking to a therapist when we could be talking to a friend. Instead of learning to be vulnerable, we're being taught to not offend. We're giving empty platitudes lest we say the wrong words, so the only ones left being serious are the ones who feel unheard. It's not that everyone has problems, it's the problems we accept. I can complain about the weather or my boss, a job that sucks, a team that lost, COVID prices, government, traffic, taxes, other people, service rules and policies, machines, disease in other countries. But woe be unto you if your problems live outside of these. Don't talk about your mental health, because we prioritize a social contract over healthy human contact. We routinely ask how people are even when we aren't prepared to listen. And if they start responding negatively, well, aren't they the imposition? So then we try to change the topic to lighten up the conversation. And let me tell you, when I was sick, that did nothing for my isolation. Then, when someone actually cares and asks, are you okay? We're so used to being shut down that we think it's best to just say nothing. Shame drove me to suicide, then followed me after I survived, and this illusion of being friendly was actively harming me. So I tore up our social contract and I wrote myself a new one. Talk openly, listen closely. Instead of jumping off a building, I started pushing back on shame, and being open about my trauma meant more compassion for other people's pain, because vulnerability leads to empathy. Think about it. We see people share on stage and we praise them for their courage, yet when it comes to sharing our own stories, vulnerability is discouraged. But I'm not standing here because I need to process my pain. I'm sharing all of this with you to offer you the freedom to do the same.
Can you stand up and do that? That was good, actually. Can we have the beat back on just for one
Yo,
second?
mad the whole of them, I spin them like a windmill. You talk for them, go to them, and we got the skill. Dance girl, nice and less when you find the bill.
That That's a DJ job well done, definitely. If you get people seated to start dancing, that's amazing. Okay, here we go. We got a 9.5 over here. We got a 9.4 up there. We got a 9.4. We got a 9.1 and... Sorry, I went a bit fast. I was like auctioneer. Okay, we got a 9.1, a 9.4, and a 9.4, and a 8.7. Is that right? Everybody? Yes. Okay. All right. We're good. Okay. Where are we? Okay. All the way up the back. Yay. Giving the people at the back an opportunity to interact. Yay.
Kira? I can't read it. Kira Voller from Northern Territory.
Kira from Northern Territory.
Get onto the bus that's gonna take you back to Beelzebub. Get onto the
I wasn't born for complacency. Revolutionary change is what I seek. My soul feels sick when I get too comfortable. Ain't no comfort in corruption, I'll question it all. 'Cause I was born to stir shit, muddy the waters, say it how it is. After all, I am my mother's daughter. I refuse to let my kids become a statistic. Black deaths in custody, black children in cuffs. I see how these politicians get some power just to appease white men in power with their PhDs on Indigenous trauma, mind you. Are you starting to see how much of a slap in the face that is to work underneath someone with a fucking PhD in this? I'm a black woman with lived experience, and I'm supposed to answer to a white man who just studies this shit? In school, when I was a kid, the lessons, they tried to really drill them in. Captain Cook this and Captain Cook that. This country already had its own map. My ancestors drew it up in the stars, and you'll see it closely if you look on that piece of art. The way my people connect the dots, know where they are by looking at the rocks. Song lines connecting tribes since before my time. I still feel them when I travel far and wide. All this knowledge, ancient as the stars, and all we get is an acknowledgement of where we are. My people make up 3% of this population, and yet we are the highest incarcerated. Black kids shipped off from school to prisons, 10 years old, and you're stuck within the system. Hood on your head, strapped around your neck for a child who's lost, who already wishes he was dead. What kind of country do we live in when we run nationwide campaigns for white kids being bullied, but hire grown men to pin down black kids and keep them hooded? Silence, told to shut up and be quiet. These men are paid to kill the kid inside them. And when they fight back, they get strapped into a chair, hood over their head, isolated for hours on end. No child deserves this abuse. Fuck the CLP. Let's free the youth.
Get onto the bus that's gonna take you back to Beelzebub. Get onto the bus that's gonna make you stop going rub-a-dub.
All right. 9.8. 9.1. A 9.2. An 8.7 and a 9.1. Thank you one more time. And here we go. Zum, 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 zum.
Macho McCarter from South Australia.
Macho from South Australia. Put your hands together.
I want to hear a poem about everything I don't know. I want to hear a poem that's not just for show. I want to hear a poem that will make me feel something new, make me understand another's culture, another country's truths. I want to hear a poem about who you are deep inside. I want to know about your traditions, where your heritage lies, and I don't want to hear the sweet, blissful issues. I want to hear about the war-torn struggles, the bombs and the pistols. I want you to take me where everyone is afraid to go. I want you to show me what it is you call home. I want to hear a poem about I want to hear a poem, what it is you call home. I want to hear a poem about, I want to hear your voice in anguish at the still scenes of your life and how when you came in, everything was different, but that doesn't mean it's right. It doesn't mean things are all dandy, mate. Hello, goodbye. I want to hear a poem that makes you stand up to the comfortable, makes you reach those uncomfortable, makes them feel lovable. I want to hear a poem about heartbreaks between traditions of countries, between provinces that are suffering and those that are hungry, about how love is expensive except to those with money. I want to hear a poem that will make these people feel something. I want to hear a poem that will open the eyes of those around through the eardrums of the sound of your voice being proud, of the dirt roads that you've stepped from, of the hecklers you've been stepped on, of those that don't know how things go on the other side of the spectrum. I want to hear a poem about how everyone thinks you got it, how you can't pay your rent, find a job, but everyone thinks you so exotic. I want to hear a poem. So if you got something cultured, something insightful, something inspiring, something you think may make others not like you because it's so hard to speak the damn truth, I want to hear you. I want to hear a poem that brings fear to the crop, that shows the ingenuity of loss, that shows the struggle of a girl of color and everything they suffer. I want to hear a poem. I want to hear a poem from someone indigenous about how having no privilege gets you from being a witness to taking you to prison. And when you speak in native tongue, nobody listens. I want to hear a poem about a butterfly and how it's like identity and how it's so hard to capture, so hard to picture floating by, but so hard to define, so hard to capture, and even harder to dissect. I know they haven't captured it yet, but it feels like they've opened up my chest. I don't know what they've put in here to replace. So tell me a poem that will make me feel more awake to the troubles I haven't had to face.
Okay, I'm going to go all the way up the back first. We have an 8.8. We have an 8.2. We have a 7.9. We have an 8.7. And she's like having a chat with her mate. And she's like, well, there was the performance bit. And there was an 8.4. Thank you very much. One more time. Here we go.
From Victoria, Lane Milburn.
All right, bring it on for Lane.
If you want to make an omelette, you've got to break a few eggs, right? There's comfort and control. That's why I eat the same thing for breakfast as I do for dinner each night, eggs on toast. And eggs on toast, and eggs on toast, and eggs on toast, on toast, on toast, on toast, on toast, on toast. I don't trust the gas and the flame, so I try not to cook them on the pan over the stove. So I microwave them instead. For 42 seconds. Exactly, and the bread has to be toasted somewhere between the HTML colors coded ED94B7 and DDBE91 to be satisfactory. I do 12 push-ups every morning, and then I do 26 squats. I plank for 33 seconds, brush my teeth twice, I floss. 10 minutes of reading, 3 shots of coffee and 30 minutes of reading. I pick up my face until my skin starts bleeding, take photos of my head to track my hairline receding, practice my lines in the mirror until I'm confident in speaking good morning. Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. It never sounds right the first time. When I speak my words, they taste like they've expired, so I have to repeat them over and over until they've lost all their meaning and it's just echoes and syllables of other people's language that I've acquired. That's why they say you should reserve some things just for special occasions so they don't lose their specialness. A painting turns dimensionless, a dress that stopped feeling elegant, press play for endless prevalence of songs that just turn into resonance. Resonance. I know this resonance because my obsessive compulsive disorder will have me up all night, not just washing my hands endless times, but making sure that everything rhymes and is memorized. But when that sun shines, I have to watch that sunrise just to make sure that it does indeed still come up every day. I figured that I would never get bored of it. The sunrise never shows its colors twice in the same way. Just because it repeats, it's reliable. but that doesn't mean that it's not still movable. You can have too much of a good thing. You don't need to be an addict to build a tolerance to something beautiful. Good morning. 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 All right, let's take that from the top. Can I do that just one more time?
Okay, judges, we're going to go to the philosophers there discussing the ins and outs of the possibilities. Just here from Alice, what do we got? What do we got? What do we got? We've got a 7.9. We've got a 9.2. We've got a 9.8. We've got an 8.5 and a 9.2. Thank you one more time. And where are we going to go? Oh, hello. Ooh, right down the front.
Sian Mainari Bland, ACT.
All right, from the ACT, bring it on.
The era of fad diets and heroin chicks. Suburban mums squeezes what little hope is left inside hungry bellies into pink leotards. They swap stories and inspo through TVs that blast Jane Fonda aerobics for the slender figure. We swallow opinions on body shape for meals, make appearances dance on the tips of our tongues, chisel out self-confidence on empty stomachs of I'll be better tomorrow, trace figures through elusive mirrors that starve our soul with secrets. I remember the first time I put pen to paper, learned how to calculate the nutrients in any food as though it was my maths times table and my mouth was the teacher, counted numbers as though they were lives to be saved, didn't know I would suffer death by 1,000 calories behind cupboard doors at midnight hours. Our bodies continue to be commodities as we scroll a menu of misconceptions and we are hypnotized by perfection, medicalizing bodies for profit. We flex flesh into trends as TikTok influencers eat into our sleep. We carry trauma from hip bone to rib cage, then rib cage into fault line, brittle bones fracture on pavement, but unless you puke, faint, or die, keep going. I only just figured out why I hadn't had my period in 3 years, forgot that blood tastes like survival, remembered I am a survivor, remembered that my mum's orange cake tastes like home, remembered that ice cream tastes like childhood freedom on summer holidays. Stop calculating your dimensions, stop seeking submission from your body, stop asking the mirror for permission to feel anything more than hopelessness or hate. And this is just to say that your body deserves more than lettuce leaves and crackers, more than time spent reading ingredients lists lining supermarket shelves, more than BMIs and size 6 clothes, more than the pounding of metal against dreams in sweaty gyms, more than the swallowing of taste buds, more than giving into numbers and algorithms, more than these words. Your story is more than a before and after. You are everything in between, so make your own cake and eat it too.
$8.5, 9.2, 7.7, 8.7, and an 8.5. One more time, give it up for Sia. And we're gonna go right up here, right up the back there. Dun, 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 dun. Okay.
From New South Wales, Will Small.
Will Small for New South Wales.
For Leo, my son, named after lion. May your roar be unleashed. You were not made to be silent. May your roar be unleashed, but may your claws stay in hiding. This world, my son, It does not need more fury-fueled fist fighters lighting flex muscle fires, burning more and more bridges. It needs the carefully composed stitches of those who will unleash their inner riches on repurposing the discarded, refurnishing the disheartened, refurbishing the thick darkness to let light shine through. Leo, be furiously gentle. Be unstoppably humble. Be quietly courageous. Be a new kind of lion. Leo, be wild. Be untamed and unbridled, but remember that true strength is restrained and not often sighted. It's the 90% you don't see of the iceberg. It's the churning below of the duck's quiet legwork. It's every harsh word that doesn't make it from your brain to your tongue. It's the unseen powerhouses like your heart and your lungs. Leo, my lion, be humble, not giant. I gift you the name small. Do not try to hide it. Let me let you in on a secret, the whisper in the quiet. The bigger you try to pretend that you are, the larger the doubts you will carry like scars. But when you own that you're just one in the current snapshot of 8 billion on the pale blue dot, and yet here you are right now on the pale blue dot, with that glorious spirit in your respiratory system, you will feel enormous and tiny, and it will all be a gift. Leo, my lion, may you be gloriously, victoriously, enormously small, but do not be silent. May the world hear your roar.
All right. I'm going to start down the bottom here, 9.5. And we're going to go up here to a 9.3. We're going to go over here to a 9.1. We're going to go up to a 9.5. And an 8.9. Okay, thank you very much, Will Small. Here we go.
From South Australia, there's My Setu.
Bring it on from My Setu.
Last night, the street was a kaleidoscopic black hole that lost the taste for us weeks, months, years ago. We were the bones caught in last night's throat. Rambling and stumbling through filth, we cast fever dreams of God, bottle-os and poppy seeds. Last night, the sky was full of elephant-shaped clouds, seen only through the bottom of a $3 schooner, and myths made of dying suns drowned out by city lights, but you and I remembered them anyhow. Somehow, it all felt so biblical. There were perennial plights too painful to ponder, so, becoming higher power, we partook in that holy act of creation, became the parables cut for their confusing poignancy. God has delusions too, and what were we, if not one of them? Last night, you were finally clean, and I was proud, but there was red on our hands. We mistook ourselves for the daughters of Danaus, but the blood was ours. Mistook them for Tantalus, but they'd had their fill. Last night, you kissed incredulous knuckles, a sacrament of confession for chemical crimes. 2 black eyes you got for being human. They called you curb crier as they baptized you in blood. Thought I heard your heartbeat throbbing through the concrete. Searching for soil, my soul sprung another leak last night, holding you. And I knew you were thinking of the needle, of a paler embrace. in a week's time, you'll text me to tell me you OD'd and I won't hear from you again. And I'm still left choking on last night.
Okay, I'm gonna go to the philosophers first now. Dun, dun. Yeah, she's like, I'm gonna listen out for everybody else's score. No, no. What do you? Is one of you actually a university lecturer? Oh, he is. Oh my gosh! Wow. Okay. Well, we should wait then. We'll give you some space. Okay. 8.9, 8.5. A 7.8 and an 8.1, and going right to the university lecturer, 8.3. Thank you very much. Okay. And here we go.
From New South Wales, Rachel Williams.
The reason I raise my voice about suicide in young men, I just can't afford to lose another you again. I can't see this vicious cycle repeat and steal your precious life one after the other. And I can't be the next wailing woman, widow, sister, daughter, best friend, boys. On behalf of all the women who love you, you are the greatest thing we have lost. So yes, I count the 6, 7, 8, 9 suicides by Australian men every day. Yes, I am furious at the hand-me-down cultures of trauma and silence that taught you to chin up, man up, bounce back, take it quietly, take it without making a sound, take it like a man. When the world speaks to its young boys like this, how could they not plummet and perish, pass on intergenerational trauma, add to the digits? Every single male suicide statistic is a dead man loved beyond measure. That part won't be in the census. Will you remember them with me? Will you say their name on national stages? Because I can't bury this curse of society deep enough, from the drought-sick farmers that kill themselves before the crop can fail them one more season, to the Indigenous kid in the Kimberley who takes his life before his 10th birthday. Beautiful boys, I will not bury you, because this love doesn't die with you. I carry you wherever I go. Cameron, you held my hand in the ice rink when we were 13 years old, and you died before we turned 15. On behalf of the women who love you, I will always be heartbroken. I will always be angry. So, audience, call your best mate, your brother, your son, pick up the phone. Please have the most important life-saving conversations now.
Okay, we've got an 8.7. Sorry, 8.9. Yeah. 0.2 of a point can make a difference, absolutely. A 9.1, a 9.4, another 9.4, and an 8.9. Thank you very much one more time for Rachel Williams. So if you know that we have, how many, 8 states and territories, and we've just had 16 poets and 2 from every state and territory, well, them's all the poets in the Poetry Slam. But it's not over yet, because we go to round 2 after we tally up these scores. But before we do, I just want to tell you a little crazy story, right? So last year we did the Poetry Slam here, of course, and in between that, I had been to the Opera House to see a theater show. And as I was walking down the kind of whatever that is, esplanade. And I was with my partner. And I've told her these stories before, and she was always like, wow, that must be horrible, yeah. But a woman walked up behind me, grabbed me by the hair, and said, wow, it's real. And pulled back a little bit. And she's like, it feels so amazing. Completely strange, drunk, very, like, honestly white woman. I was a little bit like, and I wanted to like reach out and grab a body part, but I felt like, that's probably not appropriate, right? And my partner was just looking at me like, oh my God, you're right. It happens, because she's white. But I had a moment during the Sydney Slam and the New South Wales Slam where I went up onto stage in the middle, just before the break, and I said, we as an organization might be in trouble because we've seen Queensland poetry go under this year. We've seen Darlinghurst Theatre disappear. We ourselves are in that state of burnout where we can't afford really to have really good, high-quality, high-paid staff because what we get is project funding to do a project, which means that we can pay the artists and we can pay for some travel and we can pay for some accommodation, but who's actually going to write the invoices? It's a conundrum, isn't it? Because you got cash in the bank, but you're like, oh, we can't really use that to pay staff. So we're in this boat at the moment where I had to question, because on Sydney Final, we got like a $100 donation. On New South Wales, we got like a $250 donation. But last year, from this audience, we got $30,000. So I was a bit like, hold on a minute. Last year, I had very short hair. Maybe they don't trust a man with wild-ass hair to direct a company. So I just want to prove that shit wrong tonight, okay? Because I've been running a company since 2010. We got a lawyer on the board. We got 2 lawyers on the board. We got an accountant on the board. We got a creative director from an advertising agency on the board. In fact, last year, we did a call out for board members to this audience. And guess who is doing the volunteering tonight? Our board members that came from this room. It's amazing, right? So what I'm going to do is I want you to pull out your phones. I'm just going to grab a number for you. Just pull out your phones real quick. So we ask you to do a survey, okay, for a website called menti.com, MENTI.com. Can we get the house lights up for just a second? It's just a little, like, tell the funding bodies what we do. I'm going to grab the number. Okay, pull the phones out. I'll find the number. Let's have a look here. So all this does is tell, like, Create New South Wales that you love us. Oh, there is Wi-Fi. Is there free Wi-Fi? Yes. Yes, because it's a completely different experience, yes? So there is Wi-Fi in the room, I'm guessing, yay. So free Wi-Fi, nice one, okay. Someone under 30 said there's free Wi-Fi. So if you can go to menti.com, it's 1191 is the first 4 numbers, 1191. And then the next 4 numbers are 4424. And all you're going to do is just tell us how you feel. Now, if you can't get the number, there is a QR code, right? The QR code is right by the merchandise table outside. So in that, fill out the form, but have a listen. 1191 4424. 1191 4424. 11. Let's make a beat. 1, 2, 3. 1191. 1191, 1191, 1191, 4424. You're doing well. Basically, this takes the place of me walking up to you and going, hey, how you going? What's your name? Where are you from? Did you like the show? And it creates a pie chart at the end that we can then send to funding bodies to go, we had people there. They enjoyed it. In fact, it was sold out. So why ain't you giving us the funding, right? So once you've done your Menti, go outside, and I've got just a last task for you to do, okay? We'll have 4 people sitting at a table in front of books or behind some books. They can do 3 things. They can sell you a poet's brain on paper. They can say hello to you and say, wow, are you enjoying the show? But they can also receive donations. A guy walked up last night and was like, can I donate $5? Another guy walked up and was like, can I give you 100? And I was like, yeah, this is good, this is good. Here's an incentive. We received a $1,000 donation 2 weeks ago, and that money goes to us hosting story sharing dinners for donors, with donors. So the Poetry Slam is a part of Story Week. And if you look at our program on wordtravels.org.au, you can go and sit at a dinner with actually Grant Saxon, one of our board members. He's hosting in his own home. That one's sold out, by the way. But you can go to a dinner where you're invited to share a story, bring a donation, share a meal. But yes, those are the things that you can do to engage with Word Travels. You can come and share a story at a dinner table later, all of this week, after tonight, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We've got story sharing dinners where we're inviting donors to come and participate. If you don't donate tonight, you can donate at those dinners, but we've got the $1,000 donation to pay for food, right? So you can come along, you can have a free meal, and you can, participate, and then you can go, I think I'll help you out. Enjoy the rest of the night. We're going to come back here with the top 5 poets. Make your way out to the foyer and say hello to Adara and Hani Abdile, and say hello to Sarah Hoskins. They are our volunteers and our staff, and they are going to take your money. They are going to give you some poetry on pages, and they're going to give you a big hug if you really want one. Okay, see you soon. See you back here in 15 minutes. Okay. Okay, puffed now. So, crazy thing happened. So raise your hand if you donate. No, Joe, you don't need to share. So we had like some sort of a weird tie thing, which means that 6 people are going through to the next round. I know. I'm always a little bit like, yay, and then there's a slam off, and then at some point the Opera House is like, we're going to charge you more if you stay over. And we're like, okay, quick. All right, so we're gonna go back over to our handy-dandy board members. We've got Sarah Walladan over here, and we're gonna pull some names from the hat. So, of course, I was just waiting for Daphne to tell me what was actually on the run sheet. Oh my gosh. You guys are in for a ride. Actually, this man has been in for a ride. He has gone to the Byron Bay Writers Festival. He's gone to Coffs, Gyra, Armidale. He's gone to Kempsey. He's gone to, Brisbane and several cities around, towns of Shepparton and Albury-Wodonga. And we have the money this year for him to go to Ubud, Singapore, Mumbai, and Malaysia to writers' festivals. A Gomeroi man, performing his poetry for 20 years, and now he will explode. Not physically explode, but metaphorically explode. He will join you with his poetry, his book. I hope you bought it, right? You can do it after the show as well. Please put your hands together for Rob Waters.
Love it, man. Love it, love it, love it. Keep it going. No. Couple of things before I start. Just want to send nothing but love to Gadigal Country. Thank you for hosting us. Those old people from here for looking after us. Big love out the back to all those poets that were brave enough to stand up here in front of you guys. Yeah. Big love to our family, and big love to my mob in Palestine. People ask me why I read my poetry from notepads or the screens of my phones. They say the good ones don't need to do it and they can do it alone. But they don't know that at least 6 times a day I ask, what day is it? See, my cousin joked that at 15 years old when I lost my short-term memory that I'd remember everything eventually. Now, I'm not sure if that's the way it's meant to be, because essentially I'll be mentally examined by more head doctors than any child should have ever had to be sent to see. I lost my memory when I lost my dear friend on a highway in the middle of nowhere. It was the 4th of August, 1994. It was a Thursday. Wait, what day is it again? He laid there. We were thrown from the car broken, and I was awoken as he stared right through my very soul. I remember his eyes wide open, and I remember how he wouldn't answer me when I asked, hoping he was okay. I can even remember looking up and seeing that helicopter surrounded by more stars than anybody could ever count. Wait, what day is it again? He told me my heart stopped 6 times once they got me to the operating table after they took me from my friend. They said with stitches and staples my body would eventually mend, but nobody could tell me then, and still nobody could tell me when. I'll never forget what it felt like picking bits of road out of the back of my head. Alone in another country in this hospital bed, they say, you should buy a lotto ticket. You're lucky you're not dead, as if I need another fucking reminder. So as much as I wish I could remember all my poems off by heart, sometimes I wish I could forget more than just what day it is. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Big love. When I grow up, I want to be a pink unicorn with wings. I want to own a farm with a jumpoline. No, not a trampoline, because that just sounds dumb. I want to own twin goats, black ones named Barry and Gary, and I want to be a vet. And I'm going to be a pirate. Just wondering if anyone out there has grandkids. See, our 2 have us in stitches. My wife calls them perfect, and I call them witches. Not the pointy-hatted, scary fairy tale type, not even Hermione from Harry Potter. Nah, these girls, they're built different. They're like 2 mini hurricanes, but lovable ones. Because instead of wands, they hold their magic in their eyes and those cheeky little smiles, and they can convince me that when I get into the shower and there's no shampoo left, that we just had to make potions. Just breathe, Robert. See, I remember sitting beachside with the oldest one, breathing in, breathing out. Slow and constant, like wave falls upon summer sand. She looked up at me and she asked, Is that the way? Is that the shark's country? Yeah, baby girl, that's the shark's country. Ah. Breathing in, breathing out. My wife and I were in Grafton for my grandmother's funeral. We get this phone call and it was, so where are you at? I said, Grafton, baby. She's like, no. Where are you really at? I said, well, we're on Bundjalung country, up Gumbaynggirr ways, and they both were like, oh, and that answer seemed okay. You see, for two little Koori girls like ours, the best thing that we can do is to arm them with their culture. It's an invisible cloak that somehow makes them seem more visible. Not invincible, but strong-principled, knowing that being a young black woman in this country is not black or white. Nah, man, that's not that simple. Grandkids, they're a gift from God, right? This one's called Festival Breakfast. Multi-grained sourdough, roasted pumpkin, topped in seeds soaked in honey and chili, coffee black and bitter like eye at times. Famous faces sit with armed reach with thick black framed glasses, linen clothing and sideways glances that ask, "What are you doing here?" What am I doing here? Well, we've always been here. Just like Auntie, who sits across the road, draped in black tracksuits stitched with sadness and wanting, she peers through bay windows at pumpkin lattes and festival programs. Her skin as black as coffee, her eyes twice as bitter. To her, I look much the same as them, yet through thick black-framed glasses, it is not just her but I that do not belong there. I'm a picture frame sitting slightly sideways, waiting, begging to be straightened. I'm a doorway left ajar, a dripping tap, a mere inconvenience. Not even a visitor, an outsider, an intruder interrupting interludes of intermittent cups of coffee, baked eggs, and pomegranate seeds. We catch each other's eye, old Auntie and I. And a simple nod is all it takes. See, later they will acknowledge country. They will pay their respects to elders both past, present, and sometimes emerging. And then they will walk past Auntie, who's sitting just across the road as she shakes her cup. And we wait for change. So, like the fool I am, I went and wrote a poem today, which I finished about 20 seconds before they said, "Rob Waters." So, I'm hoping you like it. And if you don't, well, that's too bad, because I think I'm the best damn poet on the planet, so let's go. Not really, but this one's called The Best Poet on the Planet. So, recently I got voted the best poet on the whole planet. The judges said that he spits the truth type stuff. If you don't like what he's got to say, then that's too bad, because he's got the proof type stuff. That his words are fire, filled with desire, acquired via fire and broken hearts. Yet his words are discussions, yet heartfelt repercussions of what this colony do type stuff. He's getting a bit long in the tooth, but he's so famous that so no one knows that he's there eating. He goes to sit out the back in one of the booth type stuff. The judges said his stories he's telling, sometimes they're whispered and sometimes they're yelling. They're so compelling that he leaves us sitting and dwelling in metaphors or something like that. Because the judges also said, "Dad, can I borrow $100 till next Tuesday? The day I get paid, the day I swear that I'll give it back to you," type stuff. They said that when you and Mum go overseas, can you leave the keys to your car at our place and we can get from place to place type stuff. They said that, "So you guys still going to be the champs even though you got a hand over the mic tonight, right?" type stuff. They said not to worry about the ones that don't want to listen because they're the ones missing out type stuff. They said, win, lose, or draw, that you're still the best poet in the whole damn world. So for anyone wondering how to do what we do and how to be the best damn poet in the whole damn world, just write stuff, type stuff. And hold the ones that you love really, really tight kind of stuff. Because win, lose, or draw, man, they're your biggest fans, and man, they're the ones whose opinions matter most, right? Or something like that. Thank you.
By the hundreds, and I get love it, by the pine. Got me doing a camel walk in my sleep. Make me do the J's round every time I get on my feet.
Rob Waters, one more time. Give it up, please. Okay. We are ready to slam. The top 6 are going through the next round. Da-da-da-da-da. We have names here. I'm actually on the board as well, so here we go. From New South Wales, please put your hands together for Rachel Williams.
Poem for the footy girls, the girls, the Saturdays off for the girls, the full credit to the girls. The Elise Perrys, the Simone Biles, the Ash Bardys, the Sam Kerrs, all of the Sydney Opera House spoken word powerhouses, and the I'll only tell you after 10 vodka cruises girls that I love you girls. This poem is for the Bella Swans, the Katniss Everdeen's, the Pitch Perfect Tragics, all of the soccer lesbians. Girls, you made me so keen for the Olympics. Girls, I wrote this poem because I love you, because I was obsessed with you and scared and queer and living in a switchblade, sitting in Sunday school trying to go to heaven. Girls, you taught me one version of heaven is all that wet between your thighs. Girls, you make a lapsed Catholic good girl curse out Jesus Christ. For the Barbies who date Allens, and for my best friends who break their ankles chasing boys around clubs trying to fuck them. For the lava girls who found their shark boys and never let go. Girls, you were my first love, my first secret, my first crush. You were always a tampon or a pad throw away at the year 12 lockers. You are also my love letters never written and my young queerhood shame hidden. Girls, I made your music my life soundtrack. So to the mums and the aunties and the nans and the sisters and the best friends and the ex-girlfriends and the past life Tinder chicks who rock my world. Girls, I love you so much. The night the Matildas made history, Dad, Mike, Erin and I danced and paraded our way through Sydney Olympic Park, watching from the pub with 10 of their wedding party. After what felt like 130 minutes of play, it was kick to kick, goal for goal. Everyone was shitting, and then we won. My dad's flailing arms, my brother's lying like roaring, shouting roar, and we're all screaming, yelling, dancing, yeah, the fucking girls.
Okay, we still got our whiteboards. Okay, boom, boom, boom. What do we got? Ding. We've got a 9.2, a 9.1, a 9.5, a 9.4, and up the back. Thinking. 9.3. Thank you very much to Rachel Williams. All right. Okay, we have Kira from the Northern Territory. Kira Vala.
I'm not much for memorizing my own words, reciting them back to you all proper and rehearsed. I'm more say it how it is, say it how it comes, speak the words that roll off my tongue. Because when I write, it's not art for me. It's more like a form of therapy. I need to get what's inside here out. Writing's been the only way I know how. Because silencing them doesn't really work. It's only ever caused me more hurt to sit with my thoughts, rolling round and round. Voices in my head just screaming silently for a way out. So pen to paper is how it goes. And for some reason, the rhyming helps me to flow. So I'm not sorry if I'm not reciting this freely. And I'm not sorry my phone's in my hand and I'm reading. But it's all the same. These are my words. It's all the same. And I did rehearse. I read and reread, went over and over, wrote multiple versions of the same thoughts sober. Call me a poet. Call me an artist, but I'm just a black woman with thoughts that can't be silenced.
Showdown, motherfucker is on. Apocalypse now, I'm dropping this bomb. You can't fuck with this song. I stick to the script, I'm not clapping this bomb.
Okay, quick. We're gonna speed this. Yeah, we got an 8.8. Okay, we got an 8.3. We got a 9.2. We got an 8.7, and we got a discussion going on. It's like 9.4. Thank you very much. Okay, and next up. Oh, another from the NT, Alex. Alex Stefan from NT.
When you find yourself there, which you know you will again, because that is the nature of such things. Try to recall these lines you once intertwined when the urge to harm yourself or worse was not a curse to dispel, but a bottomless well you needed to pull yourself out of, and you did not succumb to anything that day other than the pen in your hand. Remember this poem. If help is available, accept it. Fact is, it is, always, though it may not come from angles you expected. When another's hands reach out, love on their palms, let them hold yours. See, you are not alone. And if this makes you feel good, allow that to be true, too. Nothing is set in stone. Dare to know that paths do not go backwards. Whatever dark place you started off at is not where you'll end up. Trust that. Certainly life appears to be going in circles a lot of the time, but the truth is the track is making spirals. Forever going round, yes, but look closely, you might notice it goes up and up to the light where you can see further, move so much better, and the air is clean and bright. And while you're on your way, there's always something you can do to help yourself. It could be the smallest thing, but above all, keep remembering you are not your suffering. Whatever you've been told, your name actually is wonderful, and your reason to be here still is joy.
Okay. What do we say? We're going to start with Nick. She's like, shit. Okay. Sorry, kids. 9.7. And a 9.4. And an 8.8. 9.2. 8. Sorry, I said it in my voice. 8.7. Thank you. One more time, please. You got everything? Yep. Okay, Joe Giles from the WA.
Well, when you're moving right up close to me, yeah, well, that's when I get the shakes all over me.
It all starts with a diagnosis. Your 6-month-old baby has cystic fibrosis. This genetic condition elicits a litany of symptoms, too complicated, too ill-fated, so I hesitate to list them. But I'm up here now and you're all listening. I have cystic fibrosis. I've had it since birth, Hep B, Hep C from some wild days in my youth, diabetes, liver disease, and almost forgot it. Seems I'm on my way to being osteoporotic. At the present, I'm flirting with lung cancer, a side effect of having a lung transplant, and I'm wondering if these lungs come from someone else. Is it me who has the cancer, or is it my cyborg self? Am I living or dying? I can't tell. But people keep saying, oh, you look like hell. Oh, I'm sorry, am I not conforming to your body image expectations? Is my appearance an affront to your normative aspirations? Yeah, I'm round in the middle and I'm skinny at the railing, my hair's falling out, and my vital organs are failing. But if you see me on Monday, I'm full of mirth. But by Friday, I could be shitting myself in Woolworths. I've got a lesion on my lung and a weird bump on my elbow, circles around my eyes, and my skin's kind of yellow. So yeah, maybe I look a little broken and twisted. It's hard to fix genetic, and I'm not sure I'm interested. Because this transplant taught me how to care for myself, and these lungs gave me a voice with which to share myself. So I'm stripping away fears of accelerating pitfalls. I'm keeping track of aches and pains and swallowing pills by the fistful. I'm traipsing off to hospital on a weekly schedule. I'm signing up for treatments that might be experimental. There's no giving up ghosts. There's no going gentle. No last-minute conversion to an arbitrary religion. Besides, I can't die. We've only just finished fixing up the kitchen. Yeah, sometimes it feels like I'm swallowing the ceiling, but I'm persistent, resilient. I'm addicted to living. There's only one life to be got. You're here for a while and then you're not.
Okay. And here we go. Judges, judges, judges. We got a 9.8. We got a 9.7. Another 9.7, a 9.1, and a 9.2. Wah, wah, wah. All right. Alex Bruce from Victoria. Bring him on, Alex Bruce from Victoria.
Keep going, keep going. Don't you give up. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Don't you give up. I'm not ready.
I was one of the lucky ones, the ones you hear about, who released something great out into the world and changed their life overnight. You know the ones I'm talking about. One of those bright young minds who learns how to rise only to realize that that feeling of winning is just the beginning of the rest of the world that they were never prepared for. I was one of those lucky ones who stayed the same as perception changed, was constantly told what they should be doing, but also that what they were doing was wrong. Celebrated for seeing what no one else saw, but told to fix the fixation that caused their creation. I was one of the lucky ones who fell into depression, couldn't handle the pressure, was supposed to suppress it because I should have known better, who had to learn that I could no longer discern people trying to use me to earn from having an actual concern, so I grew weary of everyone. I was one of the lucky ones. Blessed with a neutral tone and a blank expression, leaving the impression of passive aggression despite having a good intention, who deconstructs systems and social displays, so must be a sociopath because who thinks that way? I was one of the lucky ones, who couldn't possibly feel what others would deal with, for none of my problems were real. For when I told my story, they got lost in the glory and said, "Ah, you must be so happy." I was one of the lucky ones. Dismissed with anxiety by the medical system, who missed me describing my several afflictions until I resolved my own chronic conditions with the help of some people who actually listened. I was one of the lucky ones. Self-esteem stripped in a relationship gaslit because I wasn't sick, because that didn't fit the ideal that she thought that she'd hit. I was one of the lucky ones. Years of depression, no more sense of connection, with the question of if it was time for ejection. And when I did decide to commit suicide, a revelation arrived just in time. So I got to live with the guilt of having survived, because I mean, if he actually tried. But yes, I am actually one of the lucky ones, because I get to stand here and share my pain so that I might help others avoid feeling the same when they get to hear the real stories. Just as I got to learn from those who spoke out before me, all of the otherwise normal lucky ones.
Okay.
I'd like to introduce myself.
8.9, 9.7, 9.2, 9.8, and 8.5. Ooh. Sometimes the music doesn't quite go with the content of the, you know. Okay. Bunny Yan, one of our producers on the team here at Word Travels. We have all the way from way down south, Tasmania, Caitlin Clark.
It ended amicably, and hell hath no fury like me. It's fine. It's fine. We had some good times. Then one day, ding, my phone chimes. Yours truly, respectfully given the flick. Left, bereft, missing the warmth of his form and the size of his intellect. He was a writer. Sublime between the sheets, but I had to read between the lines to see that thanks for sharing your poems, it's great you're in the final, really meant I wish you were a bit more outdoorsy and willing to try anal. Well, now I'm the starving artist courting my own catharsis. I can dream of something better for me, like someone who cashes a few more checks. Checks in during sex, especially before slipping a digit or 3. But no, I never got to thank you, though, for sharing those excerpts from your manifesto and your wise personal philosophies. Like when you said that poetry was for women and minorities. Well, I mean, I tick F on all official forms, and I'm diverse if you count my neurotype, so maybe you were right, because you, who ticks no such box, weren't invited here tonight. Anyway, I'm not bitter, I'm mature, mindful and demure, but being on the receiving end sucks. So I came here to say in front of all these people that you can go and get the very best of luck.
All right. Okay, you're going to go all the way up the back first. We got a 9.1, a 9.1, a 9.5, a 9.7, and an 8.6. Bum, bum. All right. So that is Caitlin Clark. What's next on the run sheet, Daphne? Have you got any ideas? So yeah, we have gone overtime, and they start to charge us for overtime. So we're just gonna go, hey, who are those winners, guys? No, so I would appreciate it. I had a look at the sales on the break and everything. We could maybe, take a few more books home and maybe go make a couple of donations here and there. But if you do really want to make a donation, you can come up and have a chat with me as well, because sometimes just tapping, $5 or $10 isn't going to make it for an organization. So if there's a way that you want to support that's greater than $1,000 or whatever, come and have a chat with me. Some of you are like, what was he? No, it's true. People do have that kind of money. It's crazy. I know. It's remarkable. It does happen. But what's interesting about it is that you get to know that person. It's not the faceless grant application with the rejection, which gives you great feedback. It was fantastic. And if we had more money and less people applying, we would have actually funded you. But you get to actually meet the people and have conversations with them and find out they're poets too. And they're writers, and they have stories, and they have experiences. So the community is supporting us, sometimes more than the government, which is amazing. All right. Okay. In third place, with an honorable mention, Alex Bruce from Victoria. Come on out here, Alex. Can I give you a hug? And before we find out the top two, can we just get all the poets up on stage, please, so we can get a bow? Oh my gosh. All the poets up on stage, please. Just get everybody out here. Just run out quickly as fast as you can. And I wouldn't mind getting Kirsten out here as well to have a bow as well. Kirsten's amazing. Our fantastic poets for the year. Our fantastic poets for the year. Our fantastic poets for 2024. Bit further down. There we go. Keep going. You might need to get some down the front as well. Keep going. Oh my goodness, keep going. All right. Okay. We got a photographer in the house. Oh my goodness. Woo-hoo. Get that microphone out of the way. All right. And okay. Here we go. In second place, and earning a fantastic rendition of opera by me as I kneel in front of them, Rachel Williams. And our 2024 Australian Poetry Slam champion, please don't rush the stage. Going on tour, hopefully with your support. And we will publish a zine with this person as well, Joe Giles.
Hello. I don't know what to say.
You don't know what to say? I don't know, a couple of words, maybe,
Okay.
Just a couple, though,
Thanks, everybody. Yeah, thanks a lot.
I got a couple of questions for you, though.
Okay.
How do you feel about Ubud Writers Festival?
Oh, God. I'm a very... if I think of things too far ahead, I don't do anything. So I just try and do things. This is crazy.
Well, we are going to spend the next year together, hanging out and writing books and going on tour.
Oh, my God.
Nice to meet you. Pleasure.
Hello.
How are you going?
Okay, I'm done.
Okay, thank you. No, you're good. A wild round of applause as these guys take a magnificent bow, I mean, incredible. Incredible. So head out there tonight, inspired to write your own poems, tell your own stories. Come to the story dinners, okay? Book yourself in, come and share a story, and head out and say hello to our folks sitting at the Word Travels table. This has been a beautiful night. Thank you so much for sharing it with us, and thanks again to our fantastic poets.
Thank you.